Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Hunt, the Supernatural Watch Along podcast. Today we are going to be looking at episode 15, season 1, The Benders. I am your host, Ryan, and as always, I am joined by Ali
How you doing, everyone?
and Kieran.
Hi.
So, season 1, episode 15, The Benders originally aired on April the 30th, 2006, and is rated 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb. The synopsis, according to IMDb, after following a history of disappearances in Hibbing, Minnesota, Sam finds himself locked in a cage and Dean must team up with the by-the-book sheriff to find him before the hunt begins. The episode was directed by Peter Ellis and written by John Shiban and Sarah Gamble, and as always stars Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester, Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester, and this episode brings in Jessica Steen as Officer Kathleen, John Dennis Johnson as Pa Bender, Ken Kersinger as Jared Bender, and we have a couple of other Benders in there as
That's one word. That's one word for them. That's definitely one word for this episode. That's for sure.
So, Kieran, what's your thoughts on the Benders?
I think the title is unfortunate, but the episode is fantastic.
We should point out that the title is likely only unfortunate in the United Kingdom. I don't think the Benders means anything or Bender doesn't mean anything in the US or anywhere else. However, it is often it is a slur used in the United Kingdom. So if you care to see what said slur means, go look it up yourself. However, if we are giggling away when using the term the Benders, a quick Google search will likely tell you why. So, as the synopsis mentioned, this episode opens in Hipping, Missouri, a place I can honestly say I've never heard of. Hipping, not Missouri. I've heard of Missouri. And it opens with a boy watching his dad get dragged under a car. So it very much opens kind of classic horror style. What's the creature in the night pulling people under vehicles?
Quite quickly, might I add.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam and Dean investigate, and they do so under the guise of state police. This is where Dean ends up chatting to the child about Godzilla versus Mothra, which is apparently his favorite Godzilla movie. Kieran, favorite Godzilla movie?
Oh, I quite like the original, and I quite like the new one, Godzilla -1, low budget, but actually nice character piece throughout, and a lot of practical effects instead of these absolutely new garbage Godzilla Kong films. If you like them, you're a moron, and your opinion is trash. The scripts are terrible, the direction's terrible, the cinematography's terrible, and the sound's terrible. So it was nice watching an actual film that's made for cinephiles.
I'm more of a 1990s Godzilla kind of a guy. Matthew Broderick running around.
Good soundtrack, I'll give you that. Jamiroquai. Yeah.
You don't want to know my opinion then.
No,
do you like the new one?
I mean, I
don't have one.
I don't
have one.
Okay,
I don't have one.
We have absolutely been sidetracked by Godzilla. So let's return to Supernatural. So we then move to a bar where Sam and Dean are discussing the case, and we find Dean has managed to get himself the number of the barmaid.
Of course,
imagine that. And Sam goes outside to wait on Dean and is taken once again, we think, by a creature. Dean goes and talks to the local cops and goes to help find them. This is when we find Sam in a cage, along with the dad who was taken at the start. And this is the point in the episode where we find out that it was, in fact, just people, just good old fashioned
humans.
rednecks. So, what was your thought on this, Ali? On it being people?
Quite surprising it was, actually. And like I said at the start, by how rapidly they took the dad, it was quite demon speed that they took him. And when I saw the human hands, I was like, because they were hooded up at first, so you were thinking, oh, they're going to be a creature, and it was human hands. I was like, that it? We're just getting humans. All right, okay, this is different, I suppose.
Just getting humans, yeah. Kieran, how
Aye.
do you feel about an episode with just humans?
I didn't mind. I really enjoy this episode. I think
Okay.
it's fun. So
Good.
Hannibal Lecter vibes, yeah.
Not really Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter's a sophisticated cannibal. These guys are not sophisticated cannibals. These guys, if anything, it's more kind of a Hills Have Eyes
Survival of the
sort
fittest.
of vibe. It's these kind of Appalachian rednecks. I know they're not in the Appalachian Hills, but
No,
that's sort of the, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills
Mhm.
Have Eyes, Wrong Turn sort of thing, where you get these
Yeah,
hillbillies chasing after killing people, but more, that kind of thing than Hannibal Lecter.
Mhm.
However, the police officer actually does her homework and runs Dean's
Does?
badge to find out Dean is absolutely not who he is claiming to be.
Clearly not, no.
Very, very definitively not who he is claiming to be. So Dean, however, manages to talk the officer into letting him go along, and he explains that ever since they were kids, Dean feels it is his job to keep Sam safe. And because the officer herself has lost someone, she allows Dean to continue the search with her, despite suspecting quite heavily that Dean is a felon. She absolutely is, to be fair. No, impersonating an officer is all kinds of illegal in any country. I know that.
Yes,
So,
yes.
probably not the most illegal thing he's done, though. Kieran, what's quick off the top of your head? What is the most illegal thing Dean Winchester has done so far?
so far, I
far.
mean, breaking and entering is definitely a yes. I mean, technically, they killed the shifter. The shifter was a human, so he has murdered someone.
The shifters
shif-
aren't human. They
Human.
start
Eh,
as human, but
Exactly.
so did the Wendigo. They're not human.
Yeah, killed them as well. So I mean, definitely murder. Uh, so he's done a lot of, I mean, pretty good, but not always a valid excuse. So
So,
I did just check for people that might be interested, because we mentioned rednecks. In my head, Missouri is not a state that I equate with rednecks. Being British, not being from the United States, you hear rednecks, you picture a couple of states in mind. Missouri wasn't one of them. I just checked
No,
the
definitely.
website. It's the top 16th state for proportion of rednecks. And I thought people might be interested. How this website decides the redneck score is the number of Walmarts per 1 million people per distance, and the
That's how
number
they
of
decide.
mobile homes per 100 housing units. So apparently, there's either a lot of mobile homes and a lot of Walmarts, which apparently makes it
Fair
a
enough.
redneck state. So yeah, I did not
I'm not
realize
gonna
that was
lie,
the
I like an
categories.
Asda. I like it. Do Walmart still want Asda?
No, they don't, mate.
Not anymore. No.
No, they
No.
sold it about 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
Either way, I enjoy an Asda. If Walmart is like Asda, there's nothing wrong with Walmart. I'm just saying. So, In my humble opinion, of course.
It's better, apparently.
Uh,
Walmart is better in
so,
Canada and America, apparently.
so the rednecks, the benders as they were, then release the
Father.
in the cage,
Yeah.
in the cage, and yeah, the guy's dad from the start gets out. He claims he'll be back for Sam with help,
Holy
and
fuck.
he goes on the run, and the rednecks
Sorry.
hunt him. And yeah, he does not survive said hunt.
He got a fighting chance, though. He got a fucking fighting chance.
Well, did they?
The shittest fucking knife ever, like, but he's still
mean,
got it.
In the nicest way possible, that's not really a fighting chance.
Oh, I know it's
You naturally hunting people through the woods, starving them in a cage, and being like, here, have a knife when we have spears and traps set up and know the land. I mean, it seems. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the sort of chance I would give someone if it was a fight to the death. I would want to stack everything against them because we all know that there's winning and losing, and losers lose, and winning
But
is
it
the
is-
most important thing.
He's not a good chance that he
Yeah,
was given. He was given a knife, but not
Yeah, it's
the
true.
best chance. Like you say, after being kept in a cage and only fed once a day, and for however lifetime. So, he. To be honest, I didn't feel so bad for him. He was a bit of a dick. So yeah, it was. I actually think that's a bit of a misstep in this episode. I think had they made him more sympathetic as a character, then
Possibly,
killing him
yep.
would have been nicer. I think it would have had more impact. I mean, whereas he was a bit of a dick. He went away, he died. You're like, oh well, had that comment. Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
Dick Cummins, maybe an
Ali-
older cell.
So that is a note for anyone listening or watching.
If you're a
you
dick and you get
are a
killed by
bit of a dick,
hillbillies,
you should be hunted by hillbilly.
I bet me and you better fucking watch yourself.
So, Dean and the police officer, Officer Kathleen,
She's a deputy.
pull up on site, and she handcuffs Dean to the car. A move that my partner saw coming a mile away. She's like, he's going to get handcuffed to that car, and like, boom, like clockwork happened. So yeah, Dean got himself handcuffed to the cop car, and Kathleen finds herself getting knocked out because of course she does. The hillbillies make their way towards Dean, but he is able to use the antenna from the car to pick his locks, and he makes a valid point that he should start carrying, paper clips so he can pick locks. This is a good idea. It's something he absolutely should learn from.
does no one else have a problem with this scene?
What is your
Simon
problem with
Dean.
the scene?
My problem with the scene,
there
they're
is-
building tension. The tension's building. Dean is picking the lock attached to his hand, and then you
Yes,
see
then
the
it's
hillbillies
missing from the
come,
car.
and it's missing from the
It's-
car.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you've just shown
Yeah,
us
he's-
picking the wrong lock
Yeah.
for the handcuffs to no longer be on the car.
Yeah.
It is either meant to be a funny little blooper, or they
It's a
just missed it.
continuity error, realistically.
And it
Because
could be great.
he absolutely picks the wrong lock. Had he picked the one attached to the car, it would make sense. There would be no lock there. Instead, he picks the one on his wrist. There should still be handcuffs hanging from that
That's
car
right.
door.
Yeah.
But there aren't. So yes, you're not the only one who noticed that, Kieran. It's Dean makes his way in and ends up in a fight with a couple of hillbillies. Good old fashioned fist fight. Against, I mean, they're pretty big guys, and he turns to one of them, which is, I'm going to kick your ass first, and then he's knocked
Gonna kick the
unconscious
brother,
from
yeah.
behind. However, luckily, Sam makes his way out of the cage as Dean is made to choose which one is going to be hunted, Sam or Kathleen. He chooses Sam because he figures Sam actually has a fighting
Fighting
chance,
chance.
whereas Kathleen does not. But yeah, Sam gets his way out of the cage, and and ensues one of the hillbillies shoot the other one. Scuffles go down. Kathleen straight up assassinates.
The father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight up assassinates him. Claims that he tried to escape, but Pa Bender, we call him. But he didn't try to escape. She just shot him point blank range, no mercy.
I don't believe that. I don't think a police officer would abuse their power in such a manner.
You know, you make an interesting and valid point. He must have tried to escape.
Yeah. Did we see him try and escape? No, doesn't mean it didn't happen.
No, we
So,
I
do
think it
see.
was- I think it was a laugh that sealed his fate. That kind of.
Yeah,
He didn't laugh. If he didn't laugh at her, you know.
let's be fair.
Yeah.
I would have fucking shot him as well. So
Oh, aye, totally. I'm actually quite surprised the daughter didn't get worse than just getting locked in the closet. She was, as soon as she opened that door, I knew right away, nah, she's gonna be a creepy little bitch.
So, did any of them, other than Pa Bender, die? I mean, Pa Bender definitely died. But the
we
others,
don't know this because we only saw one brother getting put in a cage. We saw the daughter
we saw
in
one
in a closet.
Yeah, and we saw one of them get shot by the other one. So presumably he might have died. So there might there might be two dead Benders, and the others are
This is another podcast for another.
alive. But with that in mind, neither Sam or Dean get the point for defeating the villain as such.
No,
because
they
none of
didn't.
them killed it. I mean, Sam kind of saved them, but we're not counting saves here. We're counting how many villains they beat. Is if we're counting saves, would be that's too much to count. That being said, if one of them were to get the point, it would be Sam, because Sam rallied and it would be Sam. But unfortunately, no point. So the score remains Dean 6, Sam 4. Ali, what is your summary and final ranking of the Benders?
Again, one of those episodes. I liked it. I didn't love it or hate it. It was different because it was humans this time. That's for sure. But just as the big bad of the episode, I didn't like them at all to actually have an opinion like previous ones. So that gives my score. This is gonna be pretty low for me. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay, that's pretty low, but fair. Keaton?
I completely disagree with Ali's synopsis of 5. I think that is unbelievably harsh. I like this episode. I enjoy the fact that it's not monsters. It shows you that people can be dickbags as well. And I also like the fact that it's an American show. And let's be fair, Americans love to mock British people about their teeth. But did you see that fucker's teeth? Jesus Christ, they were horrible. So I'd give this a solid 7.8. I think it's enjoyable. It's one of those episodes I'd happily put on out of sequence and watch it just because it's fun.
Okay. I'm somewhere in between, but I suppose I actually go slightly more towards Ali on this one. This isn't a bad episode, but it just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't quite hit the mark.
Filler. That's the way I felt about it.
There's a few things, like I say, that I feel they could have done better to get me more invested. Like again, like I said earlier, had the dad, had he been a more sympathetic character, I feel him getting hunted and killed would have had more impact. I feel that just a few bits didn't quite nail it. That being said, the little girl, the hillbilly little girl, she was creepy as shit. So she's done a good job. But in general, I'm only going to give this a 6 out of 10, which is pretty low, but I wouldn't watch this one out of sequence because it just doesn't do it for me. If it was on TV, I would just skip it.
Mm.
But like I say, it's not a bad episode. It just doesn't quite land. I think a few small tweaks, nothing major, just tiny little, edits here and there could have made it a much better episode. But with all that being said, let me share my screen, and we will bounce over to our by now surely world famous
Well, well,
villains
you in there now? That's for
tier
sure.
list. It does. We're getting there. So
World famous. It's like the baseball World Series only including America World Series.
so we have the Benders here. Kieran, they're just in a holder at this spot. Where would you put the Benders?
I would put them above Bloody Mary, so high C.
High C, you would put them. Ali, where would you put the Benders?
I would actually agree with Kieran on this one as well.
Would you?
Yeah,
Okay.
even though I just see it as an episode filler, a season filler. Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Okay, I disagree entirely. And realistically, if it was up to me, they would go here in between the racist ghost truck and the bugs. So with that in mind, obviously, if the two of you think here, we're going to compromise and we're going to put them at the bottom of C.
Okay.
So
I'm not unhappy with the bottom of C.
fair. So
I mean, they're definitely better than the bugs.
they're better than the bugs.
100%.
Yeah, they're better than the bugs.
100%.
Is,
And yeah, they're better than the racist ghost truck as well.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean, think so, but
the racist ghost truck was racist. These people didn't discriminate. I mean, they just
Everything was
punched
fair
anybody they
game.
could.
I mean that is true. I will give you that. However, don't pretend it's not fun to say racist ghost truck seriously.
It's a sentence you very rarely thought you get the use very rarely say. You know, I don't walk about saying racist ghost truck very often. But
anyway,
so with that in mind, come and join the hunt next week when we will be looking at episode 16, Shadow. And until then, safe hunting. Bye for now.